I don't see a future of school, work, or community, this flexible future that we all dream of, where we don't have a flexible way to communicate face-to-face. Like, I know that's true. Like, the future of the world needs a flexible way to communicate face-to-face. However, the biggest challenge is, what you point out, is like recording a video of myself.
Oh, terrifying.
What? I've recorded a lot of videos of other people, but I don't know. Could I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like looking at myself. I don't know if I can stand seeing myself, right?
Bingo, you hit it.
But I just don't see a way that we're going to get to what we want without going there. So you're right. It is a challenge, an adoption challenge, especially when we're talking about high-risk environments or low-trust environments. And so we built Volley initially for teams, thinking, this is going to be the ultimate tool for remote teams. And while there are tons of teams using it, what we found is it's actually more favored by people like creators or coaches or consultants who video just feels natural.
They've
and
been
of
doing
course,
it.
yeah, like they've been given a gift to communicate, and especially with their voice in their body language. And why wouldn't they use that gift, right?
Welcome to the Who You Know show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and in your life. And I'm super excited. We're at Video Marketing World 2022, and this show is brought to you by Real News PR. They make you look fly. Ain't that
All
right?
things destination for podcasting.
I love the pause.
Professionally.
I love
Making
that
us
pause.
look
Dramatic
real
pause.
super good.
Well, I'm really pumped because I got a superstar in the house. We got Josh Little, and Josh Little is the CEO of Volley.
That's right.
CEO of Volley, and he's also a teacher turned serial entrepreneur with 4 successful tech companies, hundreds of millions of users, and multiple exits. I kind of feel like this guy's made a few of these greenbacks. I just feel like I need to do this in advance of the show. I feel like I just need to do that. You're kind of a big deal, aren't you?
Uh-huh. No. Just ask my kids.
Just ask my kids.
Well,
That's
talk
great.
to me about that. Like 4 successful tech companies. Tech companies are crushing it, and you're talking about hundreds of millions of users. I'm thinking hundreds of millions of users. If I got $1 for every user, that's hundreds of millions of dollars. That's where my head goes.
That's right. That's the easy math. You just start a tech company, get hundreds of millions of users, you get hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's it. That's all you do.
Mic drop.
Little more complicated than that.
A little bit more. No, okay.
15 years, life savings, fails, success fails,
Yes.
failed, like all of that.
Let's get into that. That's what I wanted. That's the meat
intrigue,
right there.
drama. Yes, but
Let's talk about some of those failures.
Okay.
I want to know the journey.
Start with the hard stuff.
Yeah, started from the bottom. Now you're here, right? Where have you come from? What have been some of those pitfalls, and what were the biggest lessons you've learned through that?
Where I come from, I started as a teacher. That's what you do when you come from my hometown. You can either work at the prison, the power company, or you can become a teacher. If you don't want to work at a restaurant, which is where I was working, and so I became a teacher and immediately hated it, and so I tried to figure out what on earth someone with this skill set could do for the world, and it turns out sales was a thing, and I was good at it. And I went to 3 Fortune 500 companies before starting my first company in sales, and I was just trying to build an e-learning program for a medical device company I was working at the time. And because I couldn't do that and it was really hard, I thought, well, I'll just start my own company that just does this. And that was...
What was the time at that? What year was that?
Well, I was trying to build... This is like 2005, 2006, so this is like early e-learning. Online learning was just starting to become a thing. You really had to build everything from scratch that you were doing, and that's what we were doing. And it was worth it because of, the revenue that we were making, in medical sales and medical device, and it made sense, but it just wasn't accessible to everyone. And so I wanted to create a company that allowed anyone to be able to, build online learning programs. And so turns out it was a good time for that because everyone else was trying to solve the same problem. And now Maestro, we've created platforms and content for companies like Netflix and Facebook and Microsoft, as well as the who's who of pharma and medical device companies.
I knew it. I could hear it. This guy's a big deal, y'all. He's dropping them. He's Netflix. You heard it. Netflix and this and that, the other. Yeah, you're kind of a big deal. I like that. Okay, so you're making these course platforms, educational platforms.
Yeah, that was the first company.
That was the first company. What happened with that? You sold it?
Sold it. Yep.
Sold it.
Mm-hmm.
You like, I'm cashing out, boy. Mm-hmm. Then what happened from there? What did you do next?
Well, it didn't sell it immediately. So with the profits of Maestro, with Maestro, we saw dozens of training programs and learning programs at the and when I'm talking at the corporate level, and what worked or what didn't work, and what we discovered is only 10% of what you need to know to do your job do you actually learn from quotes training. The rest of what you need to know, you learn, like, how do you learn it? It's from that text or this video that person created or that conversation around the water cooler. This is all unstructured, informal learning, right?
Right.
So what if we could structure that? What if we could pull all of that together in something that looked like YouTube plus Facebook plus Loom, right? And like, this is 2009, so this is like the year after Twitter launched. That was a really radical idea for 2009, and so we built that. So from the profits of Maestro, we built a software platform called Bloomfire, and Bloomfire was one of the first knowledge management platforms out there, and we ended up creating the category of knowledge management, which is known today, what Gartner and Forrester call it. I called it social learning back in the day. So we built Bloomfire and grew that. It was acquired in 2 years. It was a hot company at the time. And sold that, and shortly after sold Maestro.
So do you know how to do all the coding and the tech and all of that, or are you just good at selling the vision? Like, hey, here's my idea, and then building a team of people that know how to do it? Because I got ideas all out the yin yang, but I don't know how to do all that coding computer stuff.
Yeah, I can't code my way out of a paper bag. So
you could sell the vision, though.
I can sell the vision.
Good.
And raise the money and then sell and market the product that we need to solve the problem for the customer that we're solving the problem for. Yeah.
Have you heard of a gentleman named Jared Yellen with 10X Incubator? They're launching 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. That's the goal.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Man, he must like stress more than I do. 10,000 tech companies.
Well,
I can't even do one.
He partnered up with Grant Cardone, so everything they do is 10X.
It's 10X. Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's their whole thing they're pushing right now, and so they're getting everybody with ideas on, even if it's a napkin idea, like they want you to bring it to them, and they've got a team of folks that are going to try to help build it, launch it, market it. Like, they're going to do all of that. Yeah. Right. Especially, for a cut, obviously.
Right. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Not something I feel like I can bite off, but woo, go for it.
So talk to us about Volley.
Yeah, Volley.
It's your newest baby, right?
Yeah, it's a new baby. We launched it shortly after the pandemic hit, and given my background of learning and education, I've been thinking about how people communicate for a long time, and when the pandemic hit, it was like, I know what the world needs, a better way to communicate, because technology has really only brought us digital versions of typing or talking. If you think about it, chat, text, email, that's all typing. And Zoom, even Zoom and FaceTime, that's talking. That's synchronous at the same time. And Volley allows the richness of talking with the flexibility of something like texting. So the best way I've learned to describe it, which is crazy, is video. It's like video texting. We take turns, just like any conversation, just like we're taking turns in this conversation, except we record our turn with video, or what we call a volley, or an audio message, and they're automatically transcribed. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So you can send volleys back and forth to either your remote team or your group membership program or your mastermind. But Volley was really made to allow groups to communicate richly at scale in a way that doesn't involve scheduling meetings.
I love that. I actually teach a service to job seekers. You're probably familiar with it. It's called BombBomb.
Yeah.
And they're little video messages. They're not, it's not meant to be this big video. No, it's like, if I was to send you a voicemail, instead of sending you a voicemail, I send you a video message.
Yeah.
And so you're doing this in like text, like back and forth. It's a back and forth communication.
It's back and forth, yeah. Unlike
Volley.
Bomb. Yeah, volley.
Yeah.
The metaphor works, right? But
Yeah.
we send volleys back and forth, and you can chat as a group and have multiple channels. So
okay.
some people, if you understand tech, it's like something like Discord and Marco Polo or Voxer had a baby.
Okay,
so
got it.
pull all that together with rich videos that are automatically transcribed.
Now, what's the adoption of this tool? Because I know, just teaching my audience,
Yeah.
video is terrifying for a lot of people. So just getting on video and to like, what's the adoption of it like?
Yeah, so you just pointed to like the biggest challenge with adoption. Like I don't see a future of school, work, or community, this flexible future that we all dream of, where we don't have a flexible way to communicate face-to-face. Like, I know that's true. Like, the future of the world needs a flexible way to communicate face-to-face. However, the biggest challenge is, what you point out, is like, recording a video of myself.
Oh, terrifying.
What? I've recorded a lot of videos of other people, but I don't know. Could I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like looking at myself. I don't know if I can stand seeing myself.
Bingo,
right?
you hit it.
But I just don't see a way that we're going to get to what we want without going there. So you're right. It is a challenge, an adoption challenge, especially when we're talking about high risk environments or low trust environments. And so we built Volley initially for teams, thinking this is going to be the ultimate tool for remote teams. And while there are tons of teams using it, what we found is it's actually more favored by people like creators or coaches or consultants who video just feels natural.
They've
and
been
of
doing
course,
it.
yeah, like
Yeah.
they've been given a gift to communicate, and especially with their voice in their body language. And why wouldn't they use that gift, right? And it just makes sense. So,
What's the demographic that's the resistor and not taking it on? Is there a demographic that you have in mind or you're aware of?
It's less of a demographic. It's more of a psychographic. It's because it's not about because we've got people of all.
Let's go. I like that. I like that. I haven't heard that. That's good.
Yeah. No, it's more just like
Yeah.
it's what's in the mind of the person. This hang up of being seen and unable to be vulnerable, and that's not like a millennial or a Gen Z or even a boomer. We've got all ages on Volley. In fact, one of our most active users is a 75-year-old French expat who is bringing her community over on Volley, and they're just chatting it up about living in France all day on Volley.
I tell you what, and with my audience, we talk a lot with the baby boomer generation, and there's a little bit of adoption, hesitation at first, but once they do, let me tell you, I literally see a transformation of this person. They come and they're scared and timid and a little bit hesitant, and then I get them on and it's like they're liberated.
Yeah.
And you see a transformation of this person, and they go out there. Next thing, they got a live stream show. Next thing, they got this, they got that, they got a podcast. And I'm like, man, this is amazing. You came to me like all scared, and now look at you. You're crushing it.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we as humans, we're elite athletes at this thing. All of us, even the least of us, are elite athletes at this thing called communication. It's just the magic of what's happening right now, tone of voice, body language, all that we're taking in. Like 93% of what we're taking in this conversation right now has nothing to do with the words that we're saying. Only 7% of communication is the words that we choose to speak. 38% is tone of voice, which you're hearing now, and then 55% you're seeing through the camera in body language, right? That's those subtle messages. And that's when we take a human being who is this elite athlete at communication and ask them to type messages with their thumbs on a tiny device, we are just hampering everything great about this ability that we have. And so that's why with Volley we think that's a travesty. And it's also a travesty to have your calendar blocked back to back with meetings. So what's the alternative? A flexible way to communicate face to face, like video texting,
sending
like
a
Volley,
video.
right? Sending Volley.
I also think, to your point of what you were just saying, because of the way the world and society is working right now, like I think it's another reason why people are getting so triggered online, because you've got these black and white text, comments that may be a dispute or a debate or against your point of view, and all of a sudden it's like you're reading it and you're not maybe like. If they would have told you their thoughts in person or on video,
For sure. Yeah.
it would have been a lot softer
Yeah.
it would have been a lot different than when you read it and it's like, oh, this person just blah, 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 blah. And people get triggered and they get back and forth comments and because it's the tonality. All of that gets lost.
Yeah. Yeah. We just did a study with 2,000 remote workers, and I was actually shocked, and we should have changed the scale on this, which was how often are you misunderstood in either an email or a text message?
That's the key
and
right
and
there.
so the top of the scale was every day. And it was like once a week, and I forgot what it was. And 99% of people said every day. And so we were like, well, maybe we should have broke that down to every hour, right? Because the classic example of this one is we need to talk, right? That's the example of like, if you write we need to talk, holy crap, there's like 99 ways you could take that, and 98 of them are not good. But if I say, dude, we need to talk, there's just hearing that in my voice, there's no mistaking I've got something good. We need to talk about it, and you're going to be excited when we get together, right? Just that little bit. And then if you see it in my eyes, it's even more. Just like, it's not like, ooh, well, what about next Tuesday?
So I got
like,
99 problems, but a volley ain't one.
Volley ain't one.
You like that?
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
good. Hold
about.
on. Let me write that.
Write that down. I got 99
Let's talk
problems.
about why you're at Video Marketing World and
Yeah.
everything that has to do with the power of video and all of the tech companies that you've ran and the power of video in your marketing.
For sure. Well, I'm at Video Marketing World because I just love Scott, and this is the crowd. Like, people who are attending Video Marketing World are our users. Somebody who is comfortable recording a video of themselves and trying to market their business and trying to grow. And this tends to be consultants, creators, coaches who are our ideal users. And so, when I met Scott earlier this year, I was like, how can we get behind what you're doing and show up and be at the party? So
Here you are.
that's why we're here, of course, right? And Volley is at its essence video communication. 55% of volleys sent are video volleys, because why would you type a message with your thumbs if you don't have to, right? So that's why. And of course, the power of video to communicate that message when it comes to marketing.
Yes. How have you seen the marketing landscape change through the power of video over time? Because you had mentioned, what was that, 2008? Or when did you start some of these companies?
Yeah. Well, 2007 was the first one. Yeah. Which
YouTube was around.
It was around, but we weren't all on it quite yet, right? Facebook was around, but I think I created my Facebook account in 2008. Twitter launched in
Represent for the
2008.
MySpace.
That's right.
MySpace.
We're still on MySpace.
I still got one out there somewhere. I don't know.
Friendster before that. But yeah, I mean, what was it? It wasn't like till 2014. I'm totally pulling this number out of some cobweb somewhere. 2014. When did Facebook launch video? I think it was like 2014. Which now, if you think about it in time, you're like, holy cow.
It's almost.
That
I think that was
seems
Facebook Live,
yesterday.
because
10 years?
Facebook
Really?
Live was a huge deal because it
Yeah.
was when we had started with the video, more on the live video aspect, because we
Right.
were so fatigued from uploading videos for clients. We were in the editing and the editing and the editing.
Right.
And as soon as Facebook Live came out, wait, we could just go live. Can we just
Yep.
go? Let's do it live. Let's go.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
was not reliable. And
Right.
that was 2015, 2014. So,
Yeah.
but the uploading took forever, if Facebook even had it around that time. And then around 2016 is when that started popping, and it was working really well.
We're
Yeah.
still in the early stages of all this.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no, 100%.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's the last 10 years.
Well, like the fastest growing social network that history has ever seen is short form video.
TikTok,
right?
yep.
So the evolution of text social posts, Twitter, Facebook early days, etc., to TikTok now, short form video. There's just so much you can communicate in a video. The power of video to communicate, transform, inspire is there, which is why we choose that for the central form of communication within Volley. However, there are not many people jingling and unfolding in Volley like TikTok, but sorry, that was a bad reference to TikTok memes right now, but yeah, it is definitely powerful to communicate. So I think that's why it's only the natural progression.
Yeah, and the way I say that, the reason why I said we're still early in this whole game is because, like, again, you were talking about it's only been 10 years, Facebook, right, video. So let's just say 10, 15 years, video's really been out there, YouTube, Facebook, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next 15 years look like? Where are we going? And we're already seeing it. Facebook coming with Meta and all that. We're going to be in the freaking outer space in the metaverse and doing this. Like, we're early. This is early.
Yep.
What's 30 years look like of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, our kids, you see what I'm saying? When they're our age, what does their world look like? I can't even imagine, because the speed at which technology is flowing right now, and the pandemic, like, exponentially, just expedited that whole process.
I didn't even know what a Zoom was, and how many meetings were we expected to be at in person, and now you can be pretty much virtually anywhere, right?
Right.
Well, I remember I got into a coaching program, and it actually was a video marketing coaching program. And shout out to Shay Rowbottom. She teaches this coaching program. And this was before the pandemic, right before the pandemic. And she had her coaching program on Zoom, and everybody was on the Zoom. And I'm like, you're freaking genius. I'm like, you're freaking genius. This is amazing. And I'm like, how am I going to adopt this and do this and da-da-da-da?
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and then everybody's on Zoom. And I'm like, that was the perception. Now you're just the norm.
Yep.
Right? She was a genius. She was ahead of the curve.
Yep.
Right? And now she's like... You know what I'm saying? It's just the norm.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I think you called it out with Volley in the adoption. It's just like not everyone's ready yet, and that's okay. That's okay. But there is a certain segment that is ready, and that is part of, the answer to the last question of what's coming in the future. Well, a lot more flexibility. We're heading into an on-demand world, the Uberfying of everything.
Let's
of
go.
like not just laundry, not just food, but what about our communication? Why do I have to show up at a certain time to communicate?
Absolutely.
We shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to listen to you on 2X. I should be able to skip back in real time. I should be able to think about what I answer before I answer it and not feel like I'm on the spot, right? Especially for us introverts, right? Where we can just show up as a much, much better version of ourselves. And so by enabling that flexibility, that asynchronous form of communication, we create a super form of communication that not just hampers humans, but makes them even better than they possibly could be.
Absolutely. Well, and you talked about the adoption, and so I want to ask you this. So how long has this company been around?
We launched a product last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah.
So in during the pandemic and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Well, I was going to ask you, how have you seen the adoption rate since the pandemic, but you launched in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I would have figured the pandemic would have helped adoption rates.
It did. If you look at other products like either Snap or like Marco Polo, Zoom.
Zoom,
just blew
Blew
during
up.
the pandemic. Yeah, absolutely.
So right time then.
So good timing. Yeah,
Good
a little
timing.
behind the ball because we started building right after the pandemic hit. But that was the cue. It's just like, and that's my thesis, is just like the world, as I said, needs a flexible way to communicate face to face. There's no future in my mind without that we want. And so Snap, that's interesting, but not quite there. Marco Polo hasn't innovated in years. Voxer hasn't innovated in a century, or sorry, not a century, a decade. So what if like new age technology, like what if Discord did have a baby with something like that, but it was really robust? What if there was a mobile app and a desktop app? What if you could screen record? And what if you could create spaces and all of these things that we're innovating on? So
what's the next step? Is this, do you see this being part of Facebook Messenger or being adopted by a big, tech giant out there and kind of like incorporating it so that it's in everybody's pocket at all times? Or like, what's next for you?
Yeah, well, who knows down the road, like what partnerships make sense for us over time. There's a lot of exits along any road worth traveling, which we feel like this is a road worth traveling, right? But what's next for us is what we're seeing. We're just like paving the road behind our users. And what our users are doing is monetizing the experiences they create in Volley, whether it's one-to-one coaching or consulting, or group membership programs like masterminds, group coaching programs, accountability challenges, those 90-day fitness challenges. We've got people making 6 figures in revenue on Volley.
Wait. You talking about cash flow? I already.
We're out for that's too bad.
Well, that's what this show's all about. We like to help people get back to their cash flow,
That's
or
right.
10x their cash flow, or it's all about cash flow, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I love that's what you are about, man, and rehumanizing this process of communication.
For sure.
Putting the human element back in.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that because I teach the job seekers. That's why I was talking to you about that other tool that we teach. Because I teach them. It's really more of an email.
Yeah.
Right?
Video email.
Yeah, video email platform. And so we teach them that platform to humanize their job search process.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. When they go in their interviews and it's all the black and white text resumes and they're looking at people's LinkedIn profiles, black and white text, black and white text, black and white text, to put that human element in early actually breaks through the noise. It gets attention, and those video emails actually go viral within the company that they're interviewing at. And we call it the Trojan horse because it just works really, really effectively.
Yep. And you're ahead of the curve on that because not everyone's doing it yet. You know, it's a magic trick that you can teach your clients. So I think it's really smart.
100%, absolutely. Well, this has been awesome. Any last questions you have, or
Just what has worked in marketing and what hasn't worked in marketing, and all the companies you've ran.
So I have a really simple marketing strategy, and I've had it at all of my companies. It's 2 words. It's called Be Remarkable, and that's it. Because if you're doing things that are remarkable, by definition, they are worthy of remark, meaning people will talk about them. The way that you show up at a conference, the way that you build product, the way that you treat your customers, the way that you go that extra mile, as long as that is the bar that you're judging everything that you're doing, is what we're doing remarkable or not, then if not, we must do better. Right.
I love
so
it.
I got a question. So is this remarkable or what? This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh?
This studio? Are you kidding me?
Eh?
I'm talking about this. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's I give credit. Listen.
Huh?
This is it right here. Well, and that guy back there behind the curtain. There's a guy back there. He's the Wizard of Oz, pushing all the buttons, making us look good, sound good, feel good. And then
This is the Real News crew.
Real News PR.
That's
They're
right.
freaking phenomenal.
It's unreal.
It's remarkable.
It is remarkable. It is worthy of remark. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Josh, man, we really appreciate you coming, and thank you for everything.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here, and thanks for having me.
All right. Well, guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.